My parents disowned me and cut me out of their will because I'm not their biological child, but inheriting from a distant relative changed everything. I found out I was adopted when I was 23, not because my parents told me, because my dad needed a kidney transplant and I volunteered to get tested. The doctor came back and said I wasn't a match, not even close. In fact, there was zero genetic connection between me and either of my parents. I confronted them that night. My mom started crying immediately. My dad just sat there with his arms crossed looking annoyed. "We were going to tell you eventually," he said, "but it never seemed like the right time. They'd adopted me as a baby through some private agency. My birth mother was 16 and couldn't keep me. That part I could handle. What I couldn't handle was what came next." 2 weeks later, my parents called a family meeting. My older sister Jennifer was there, their biological daughter who they'd always treated like royalty. Dad pulled out this stack of papers. "We've been thinking about our estate planning," he said, "and we've decided to leave everything to Jennifer. The house, the business, all of it." I just stared at him. "What about me?" "You're not really family," Jennifer said, not even looking up from her phone. "This is for our bloodline." My mom nodded along like this made perfect sense. "We love you, but Jennifer is our actual daughter. This is what's fair." I moved out that weekend, cut off all contact. My sister started posting on social media about how dramatic I was being, how I needed to accept reality. 6 months went by. I was working 2 jobs trying to make rent on a studio apartment. Then I got a letter from a law firm in Boston. They were trying to reach me about an inheritance from someone named Margaret Chen. I had no idea who that was. Figured it was a scam, but the letter had an official-looking seal and a phone number for the attorney. I called just to see what the scam was. The lawyer, this woman named Patricia, told me Margaret Chen was my birth mother's aunt. She'd been searching for me for years after my birth mother told her about the adoption. Margaret had died 3 months ago and left her entire estate to me, her only living blood relative. I laughed. "How much could it be? Some old lady's savings?" Patricia went quiet for a second. "The estate is valued at approximately $8.7 million. I almost dropped the phone. Margaret had been a successful real estate investor in Boston. Never married, no kids. When she found out about me 5 years ago, she'd hired investigators to track me down. She'd been planning to contact me but got diagnosed with cancer before she could. So she left me everything. The house in Boston, the rental properties, the investment accounts, all of it. The paperwork took 2 months to finalize. During that time, my parents tried reaching out. Suddenly, they were calling and texting saying they'd made a mistake, that I was family no matter what. Jennifer sent me a long message about how she'd always loved me as a brother. I ignored all of it. The day the inheritance cleared, I drove to my parents' house in my new car, a BMW I'd paid cash for. My dad answered the door and his jaw dropped. He tried to invite me in, wanted to talk. I told him I was just there to say goodbye, that I'd found my real family, the people who actually valued blood the way he claimed to. My birth mother's family who left me millions while his family left me nothing. His face went red. Started stammering about how they were going to change the will, how they'd made a mistake. "Too late," I said. "I'm good." 3 months later, I heard through mutual friends that my dad's business was failing. He'd made some bad investments and was looking at bankruptcy. They might lose the house. My parents had been counting on selling the business to fund their retirement. Now they had nothing. Jennifer called me crying, begged me to help them, said family should stick together. I reminded her that I wasn't really family, just like she'd said. Then I hung up. I never spoke to any of them again. Used part of my inheritance to start a foundation that helps adopted kids get through college. Named it after Margaret Chen, the woman who showed me what real family looks like.